All right, so who is the best quarterback A&M is going to face this upcoming season? Not named Bryce Young. We talked about that here on TexAgs. It is TexAgs Rewind. David Nuno, Billy Liucci here, brought to you by T-Mobile. They want you to visit T-Mobile.com/Across America to learn how you can get value and coverage with T-Mobile. I guess the short answer, Billy, is it depends because there's a lot of good quarterbacks they're playing.
That is a short answer. My very long answer led me to the U and Alex Van Dyke. So I think he's going to be the guy.
But it could be, as you mentioned on the show, Spencer Rattler if he lives up to what he did a couple years prior.
I just think I don't even know if it was a couple years prior. It's the promise he showed as a freshman at OU. He still hasn't really done. I mean, he's the wild card to me. Him and Jackson Dart, and then there's a bunch of guys in between. Like you said, at the end of the day, I don't think A&M plays a lot of great football teams this year. I think they'll play a lot of teams ranked in that 10 to 20 range, 10 to 25 range. I think Alabama's the only one, and they're elite, but I think they're the only one that's going to be a truly elite team that Texas A&M plays this year. That is a brutally tough schedule for the Aggies. But I remember a couple years ago, Jimbo's second year here, he had to play 3 number ones, 5 top 10 teams, and 4 teams ranked in the top 3. We ain't talking about that this year, but we are talking about some teams led by some pretty good quarterbacks.
All right, so on today's TexAgs Rewind, we talked about that topic. Liucci was here for that. Tom Hart came on to talk all things baseball and just NBA as well. Jim Schlossnagle wrapped up this weekend sweep. That was fun to talk to him about it. And, of course, during the Go Hour, more baseball is TexAgs Rewind.
Yeah, good morning. It was a great weekend of baseball. And so a great weekend of baseball always leads into a good Monday morning.
It does. So what is it now? 7 in a row that they've won the first game of a series. Am I remembering that correctly?
Could be. I haven't looked that up. I know they've won 7 of their last 8.
Yep.
And they did some, and they did it differently this week. And I think what makes you even more optimistic moving forward is the pitching that they got on Sunday with Ryan Prager coming out and giving up just one unearned run. And, and I think it was it 4 2/3, I think it was. Either 4 1/3 or 4 2/3. And then Robert Hogan coming in and just gave up one unearned run and two innings and change. And then, gosh, you mentioned it, Will Johnston faces 7 batters, strikes out 5. The other 2 don't leave the infield when he comes on. When he comes on to pitch with 2 out, Mississippi State has 2 on.
2 on, yeah.
They have their big.
Was it 6-2 at the time? I think
it was 6-2, but they got 2 on, and they have their big guy, Will Hines, their cleanup hitter at bat, and the guy Brad Cumbus coming up. He's on deck.
Yeah.
And he's already.
He went yard already, right?
Well, the day before.
Uh-huh.
So, he's coming on. You got to get Hines, and he strikes him out. I believe he struck him out. I'm pretty sure he struck him out.
But I think you said
he
it.
Did strike him out.
You said it best to start it off. There's so many games that like the information gets jumbled up in my head. But you said it best. The way they won this weekend, it wasn't an onslaught of hitting on Sunday. It was comebacks. And on Friday night and on Saturday, I'm with my kids, and they're down, and my boys are like, you think they're going to win this one? And I was like, with this team, they have a chance. They always have a chance. Just keep watching. And they did that. And this is on was it Friday night that Micah Dallas really struggled? Really, really struggled.
Yeah. In fact, I think Nathan Detmer only threw 4 and maybe 2/3 innings.
He's dealing with that injury. Yeah.
Yeah. But it was funny.
Blister, I shouldn't say injury. He's dealing with a blister in his foot.
It was funny because I stepped outside of the press box and I guess it was Saturday, and they're down 4-0, and I saw a gentleman, and I said, "You worried?" He goes, "Not a bit."
Not a bit.
When you come from 9 down and win, 4 doesn't even phase you.
But, I mean, again, they were down by 4 in both games. Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, they just it's, if they can get into your bullpen, and they didn't do as good a job this week working the count as they normally do, and making the opposing pitcher get his high, his pitch count real high, so he has to come out early. But if I've said it before, and it's not, I always say this is not great insight. This is just average eyesight. If you have mediocre pitchers, they're gonna feast on them.
Yep.
And that's what they do. And even in a day where they're not hitting the ball with the same power and the same explosiveness as you typically see yesterday, they still score 8 runs.
Schloss, it feels like every week we're getting closer and closer to seeing the Trevor Warner that we saw at the beginning of the year. Just your thoughts on how he performed this weekend.
Yeah, you can tell he's getting more comfortable. The ball's starting to come off the bat a little bit better. His homers that he hit, a couple of them were hit pretty good. A couple of them were just hit okay. The 2-out single, the ball he hit the right field, that's the one that most excites me, because I think that one came over the bat off the bat well over 100 miles an hour. And before his injury, it didn't matter what part of the field he was hitting, it was going to be 102 to 105 or 106 miles an hour. And he draws walks, and he's getting more and more comfortable at third base. Really made a nice play to end the game last night or yesterday. Made a nice play to end the game on Saturday, and that's a great sign for us, because I really think he's an elite player and can really do anything he wants to do in this game once he gets the experience.
Coach, when you look at and this is a kid that I don't think we've talked enough about, kind of how he fits and what y'all have done all year, and Cole Kaler, when you look at his overall season stats, I'm at the point where it's like, okay, you got to count a quarter or half, whatever you want to pick, of his walks as singles, because that's what he does. And not only offensively, but, man, he's been pretty steady on the dirt too.
He has, and he's been a long season for him. He's not the most physical guy, so just trying to keep him healthy and in shape has been a challenge. But you can't look at his batting average. You got to look at on base percentage. You have to look at the depth of the at bat that he puts together most of the time. He got a nice bunt hit on Saturday, and then he's played. I said going into the season, Kalai Harrison is as good a shortstop as I've coached in college baseball, and for us to have, if something were to happen to Kalai, for us to have Cole Kaler on our team, that's a luxury, and it has shown up all season to have a guy that was, already a pretty good college defender, to be able to slide in the shortstop and stay there.
Talking to Tom Hart here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. What did you make of Nick Saban's parody comments this past? I guess it was on Feinbaum's show on Friday.
Yeah, there's never been parity in college football, ever. I mean, the scholarship limit rule originally went in place, if people don't know this, because Bear Bryant had football players on swimming scholarships. And they came in and they said, hold on, so we can't do that. And then they pared it down to 85 to get more parity. Now scholarship, by the way, it doesn't matter. Like, no matter the sport, you can bring people in and say, he's gonna walk on. But then you can give them enough money for scholarship, just like BYU did, with all of their walk-ons on the football program last year. So there isn't parity in coaching salaries. There isn't parity in facilities. There isn't parity on signing day, which is fine. Like, we've all understood that and we embrace it. But what people need to understand on the flip side of that is what makes the NFL the best league in the world, if not simply our country, is it the parity with roster turnover, with scheduling inequality that allows lower level teams to then have success and build wins, is what keeps every fan base invested in the NFL and invested in their home team. Even if they struggle one year, they're only a couple of years away from getting back into playoff contention. That's nearly impossible with 130 Division I football teams. And the way other programs have turned into feeder schools for the major programs, whether it's West Virginia or Georgia Tech or whomever, if you're going to see conference teams simply act as a minor league for the running back to leave Georgia Tech and go to Alabama, the wide receiver to leave Pitt and go to USC, then that disparity is going to grow. And so in that respect, I think Saban's on the right path.
I'll tell you what has been sudden is this turnaround in Aggie baseball.
Is it sudden?
Yeah, I mean year one. Sudden.
Year one, okay,
yeah.
Gotcha, yeah.
It hasn't been sudden for this team. They've just gradually gotten better and better and better. I was actually talking to Slosh about that yesterday, just how not only the team, but so many individuals on it. But now, I mean, they've been playing top 10 baseball for damn near 2 months. I mean, it's close to that length of time now that we're talking about. I mean, they are what their SEC record says they are. They're one of the 3 best teams in the conference. Now, can they get to Omaha? Yes. Do they have some issues that historically will keep a team from getting to Omaha? Yes, and he knows that. And, you know, you can tell every time you hear him talk on the radio or after the games, he's trying, even if it's that much each game, each weekend, each week, to get them around that. But this is one of those years where there aren't many like truly dominant teams. So to me, a weekend like this weekend, to sweep Mississippi State and not win 2 out of 3, and to now have a chance to get to that 18. You know, I was sitting there shooting for, if they get to 17, they're gonna. There was a while there I thought if they could get to 16 or 17, they'll be in the tournament for sure. But then they started doing things the way they've done them and winning every series and the teams they've beaten. Now it's like they're going to host a regional. If they can get to 19 and win that series and go 19-11 in the SEC, I mean, they're right there. You saw the rankings today. They're going to have a shot at a super. But winning 3 this weekend not only keeps that in play, but even if you don't get it, I saw one of the projections had A&M Auburn, you know, if they both advance to their super regional. My point is you avoid that 14, 15, 16 range, so you're not playing one of those top 3, 4 seeds, and you're in that 9, 10, 11 range. And if they do advance to a super, your chances of your opponent losing are a lot higher to where you end up hosting anyway. But B, A&M can beat any of those teams in that range in a 3-game series. And I think A&M is actually better equipped for a 3-game than they are for a regional. Obviously, you see what they typically do in 3-game series. But those games are so tense, they're so tight, that nothing is a given. I mean, they've won 6 series in a row. 5 of those 6, you could change like an at-bat.
Yeah.
Or maybe 2, but an at-bat or 2 either way, and that whole series goes the other way because there's been so many close games there that have been played. So I think, but they keep winning 3-game series. And I know they beat Georgia. Everybody corrects me. They're like, and Georgia, and Dallas Baptist, and Texas State, who are really good, particularly Texas State right now. But I'm saying Texas A&M in year 1, under Jim Schlossnagle and this staff, in year 1, a team that didn't go to the SEC tournament. They didn't go to the SEC tournament, not the tournament.
Right.
Hoover. They have won series against LSU in Baton Rouge, Vandy in Nashville, Arkansas, swept Mississippi State, and beat South Carolina. And I know Mississippi State and South Carolina are down the barrel. They just swept the defending national champs. Of those 5 programs, and then they went to Austin and beat Texas. How many national championships do those programs have? You're talking about 6 of the premier programs in college baseball, and A&M won series against 5 of them and went down to Austin and took down the Horns. So this has been absolutely incredible, and the fun thing is it's not over yet. There's They got everything in front of them now.
So we're closing out. So tomorrow you're probably gonna hate this, but we're doing TexAgs.
Yeah, what is this?
TexAgs.
Like I'm no fun.
No,
nothing I can do is fun.
But I like
the
to play
fun
the character.
police.
The fun police
fun
have shown
sponge.
We're gonna have. So if you want to try out for TexAgs Idol, you can and give you a chance. You call in the show, and
I love singing shows.
It's not singing. It's sports take show. And then
I'd rather them sing.
Okay, if somebody sings, they get bonus points. How about that?
Okay.
All right, and if you win, you get to come on the fan show on Thursday in studio. That's what we're doing.
I don't hate that at all.
Okay, you like it?
Here's the deal, Mr. Huge Ass. Don't get duped and tricked into having some Longhorn
Can you imagine?
come on here or LSU fan come on here and trick you.
That would be
some guy by the name of,
Hugh.
Whatever. Yeah, Hugh. Get Hugh Jass in here from Australia.
Even my wife heard about that.
And he comes in here and is a Longhorn, a wolf in sheep's clothing, and just sets it up. What would be even funnier if he just pretended to be just this super gung-ho Aggie the whole time, like Hugh Jass did, and then, you don't realize it and go the whole show just pumping this guy up and talking about what a great job he did, but it was really just troll work.
God, that better not happen.
I kind of would like that, actually.
So I am doing this. I'm actually talking to everybody who's doing the show beforehand. So I'm doing a little bit of research beforehand. And a lot of these names that are going to be on the show have called in or texted in before. All right, that'll do it for TexAgs Rewind. He's Billy. I'm David. Bye.